Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. It's been a rather long time since Cartoon Network has had anything related to Ben 10 on its channel, and it's a bit alarming to me for a multitude of reasons. I've made videos in the past, countless videos discussing what I'm predicting for the future of Ben 10, and we're not really gonna go in detail on that in this video. Today's discussion is more so just meant to kind of speculate on and just discuss the current state of Ben 10. As I've said countless times before, if you guys have watched my channel in the past, Ben 10 is not even arguably, it is the biggest franchise that Cartoon Network has ever created. From a financial perspective, it has garnered the highest amounts of revenue out of any of their series they've ever premiered. It is a huge franchise, and with that being said, when you have a huge franchise on your hands, you would think that the IP owner, being Warner Brothers Discovery in this case, would want to treat that franchise with a lot of respect, would want to constantly have something with that franchise in development just because, you know, it's your big money maker. Like, for example, for Nintendo with Pokemon, the Pokemon Company, it's the biggest media franchise in the world, Pokemon is. They have a new game release come out every single year, whether it be a brand new title, a remake, or DLC, there is always something to play in the world of Pokemon, and that franchise is treated with a high regard, and they put a lot of effort into it. You can argue about the quality of some of their games from a technical standpoint, but you can't argue about the product they're putting out when it comes to Pokemon designs and all that stuff. They haven't faltered, and they've always kept that series true to what it originally sought out to do. Now, on the other hand, when you look at Ben 10, which you could say is Cartoon Network's Pokemon, if you will, obviously it's not as big as Pokemon, but nevertheless, it is their biggest franchise. You look at Ben 10, what's happened with Ben 10 throughout the years? Well, we had the original series premiere back in 2005. You had Ben 10 Alien Force air in 2008, with Ultimate Alien coming out in 2010, followed by Ben 10 Omniverse in 2012. I made a video discussing how Ben 10 Omniverse was treated horribly by Cartoon Network, and I'll leave a card above to that video if you want to hear me go in depth on that topic. But in short, at the end of Omniverse's run, it went, I believe, maybe 4, 5, 6 months, something like that. I don't have it off the top of my head, but it went a few months without airing a new episode after Galactic Monsters had aired on the channel, being the 5th season of Omniverse. And essentially what happened was, I believe it was February of the year 2014 when Galactic Monsters premiered, and there was nothing for Ben 10 Omniverse for all the way until I believe it was September, October of that year. And essentially what they ended up doing was just airing out the episodes at the 6 a.m. time slot every morning, just trying to use it as a tax write-off because they wanted to get Ben 10 off of the air because this series was no longer selling toys, which was Cartoon Network's big thing with Ben 10. The reason it's made them so much money is because of the merchandise sales. And that's not exactly the way you should be treating your biggest franchise. That's not really doing anything for the fans. That's a disservice to them because now they're not going to be able to watch the episodes while they air because you're airing them at 6 a.m. on Monday through Friday, as opposed to the weekend time slot they had going for them. It was Saturday mornings, I believe, at like 8 or 9 a.m. they would have the new episodes premiere on the channel. But nevertheless, what happens after that? Well, we have no Ben 10 for a few years at that point, and there were rumors circulating that, hey, we're going to get a new Ben 10. It's either going to be a reboot or a Ben 10,000. And Ben 10,000, in my opinion, made the most sense at the time. But nevertheless, Cartoon Network went with the Ben 10 reboot, which premiered outside of the US in 2016 and within the US in 2017. And the reason for this reboot was to essentially try to get kids to buy toys again. And that was the whole point of it, was let's make Ben a kid again, let's target it towards a younger audience so the action figures sell again, like they did with the original run. The problem with that mindset was that Cartoon Network neglected to realize that the world's changed since 2005. Kids today don't really care about action figures as much as they did back in 2005. They more so care about getting an iPad or a phone or, you know, a computer, something electronic. That's what kids today care about, as opposed to getting a cool action figure from their favorite show. That's why you see a lot of toy manufacturers make toys for older audiences, or collectibles as they'll call them. For example, I've recently started collecting Transformers again because they have the Transformers Legacy line, which is remaking Transformers from the 80s and Transformers from Armada, Energon, and Cybertron, which Armada, Energon, and Cybertron were the Transformers series that I grew up with. I loved those shows. They're even remaking Transformers from Transformers Animated, and these are all for adults. These are meant for older audiences to buy. Same thing if you look at Lego, they have an 18 plus lineup. You have Lego Star Wars sets that are releasing for $850. This is meant for collectors, for older audiences to indulge upon and enjoy, because kids aren't really buying toys like they used to back in the day. So now we get to today with Ben 10. The Ben 10 reboot ended back in 2021 in April, I believe, or March of that year. It's been well over 2.5 years at this point with no Ben 10 announced and seemingly nothing on the horizon. We had Duncan Rolu speaking in 2021 saying that they're going to announce the new Ben 10 by the end of the year. That never happened. We had last year, or it might have been earlier this year, we had Sean DeMarco, I believe his name is, the head of anime and action over at Warner Brothers Discovery. He said that there's a Ben 10 series in development, or rather he said multiple ideas they're currently fleshing out. And nevertheless, this is the longest period of time throughout Ben 10's history that we've had nothing. We've at least known, after Omniverse ended, we had an announcement within a year and a half, if that much, that the reboot was coming. Here we are now in 2023, the reboot's been gone for 2.5 years, and we have absolutely no announcement as to what's next for Ben 10. I just don't get it. I really don't. Even if you look at Cartoon Network today, or even the Adult Swim Checkered Pass block, there's no mention of Ben 10. There has been no mention of Ben 10 on the channel in quite some time. I know at some point last year, they did have a little bit of reruns of the original Ben 10, but that was a long time ago. It's just very strange to me to see that, for whatever reason, Warner Brothers Discovery and Cartoon Network seems to have forgotten about Ben 10 as a franchise right now. And I know behind the scenes they are working on something, but it's like, when are you gonna divulge upon what's being worked on? I mean, we've got the announcements years in advance for shows like My Adventures with Superman, Batman Cape Crusader, Unicorn Warriors Eternal, the new Powerpuff Girls, Foster's Nursery, the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends preschool series. When are we gonna hear about the next Ben 10? I just don't get it. From a consumer perspective, obviously I'm not working at the company, but even from an executive perspective, why would you not want to have something going on within the world of Ben 10? It just doesn't make much sense to me. This is, again, back to my little Pokemon analogy from earlier in the video. Imagine the Pokemon company for, the past 3 years just doesn't have a game. Nothing. They're just not talking about Pokemon. They have nothing coming out. Nintendo's has their mouth shut. They're not saying anything about Pokemon. It's like, okay, what's going on with your premier franchise? Why is nothing happening with it? That doesn't happen with Pokemon. Why? Because you could argue about Pokemon's faults, and they do have faults, they do have their own issues, but nevertheless, they treat the brand well. They give the consumers what they want, always having some product available for you to play. Meanwhile, you look at Ben 10 with Cartoon Network right now, and it's been missing for the past 2.5 years plus. It's been gone for a long time, and you could even argue, if you're someone like me who did not like the reboot, did not watch most of the reboot, Ben 10 has been gone for the past 9 years for you. I really haven't had a Ben 10 that was meant for me in 9 years. Omniverse ended in the fall of 2014, and we're currently in the fall of 2023. A whopping 9 years ago since we've been in the original continuity, and it's like Cartoon Network, Warner Brothers Discovery, Adult Swim, Michael Oline, everybody over there. People want to see Ben 10. People want to see Ben 10 return to the original continuity. And I've said countless times that I do believe that whatever the next Ben 10 ends up being is going to be on Adult Swim. It's going to be meant for older audiences. And I would argue that it's about a 60% chance we get something brand new in the world of Ben 10 that has no connection to anything that came before. And there's about a 40% chance, maybe a 45% chance, that we go back to the original continuity. But nevertheless, where is Ben 10? What's going on with it? Can we at least get a teaser, confirmation even, that something's happening in the world of Ben 10? Because Cartoon Network, it's been way too long since this series has gone off the air back in 2021. And for a fan like me, for a fan of the original continuity, for a fan of Ben 10, Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, and Omniverse, I've been waiting 9 years for something in the world of Ben 10, and I haven't gotten it. So hopefully next year, next fall, is going to be the 10-year anniversary of the end of the original continuity. Maybe it will be the start of the 5th series within the original continuity, maybe following a Ben in his 20s, maybe even following Ben 10,000. That's what at least I'm hoping for, and hopefully Cartoon Network Network, Adult Swim, Warner Brothers Discovery, hopefully you don't disappoint, because like I said, I've been waiting for 9 years and I'm honestly getting tired of waiting. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about the current state of Ben 10? Do you agree with me that it's been way too long since we've had something on the air? For this being Cartoon Network's premier franchise, they should be treating it with a lot more respect than they have been over the past decade. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.